This is DJ ALF. You're checking out the HipHopSlam YouTube channel. The most recent DJ-related project I worked on was just basically invited Jam Burglar and Manudukasana over my house, just have a jam session. And in the process, I thought about, WFMU, thought about Billy, and maybe, making a freestyle session, turn it into a broadcast. So invited the fella, or asked the fellas, they were cool about it, first of all, and they were down with it. And originally, when we was thinking about the whole freestyle session, we was like, oh, what should we do? And how should we, construct it? In my mind, I knew what I was going to do. I had to, of course, talk to Billy, ask him, information, general stuff as far as station ID, when should I do a mic break, and just stuff that over the years, observing or listening to Billy's show, and actually, I'm observing him in the studio. Just some things I try to remember to incorporate in the freestyle or the broadcast that we was constructing. So going back and forth for like about a couple of I think it was like 2 weeks prior, Manudukasana came up with the idea. It's like, hey, let's try to just use sounds that we obtained from D Styles in his from his on school classes. Excuse me. So during his classes,
and I was going to jump in and say this is kind of the common theme between the three of you guys, because you're all students of the Beat Junkies school of DJing.
That's correct. So Manudukasana, Jam Burglar, and I, we started attending the Beat Junkies online school. It's called Homeroom. I think they started back in March of 2020, right after the pandemic started. So we've all three of us been subscribed to that for 3 years now, and basically the subscriber you pay a subscription for 6 months or a year or whatever it is, and you have the opportunity to tune in to any of the Beat Junkies classes, Mr. Shock, Babu, Repmatic. They have Dynamics and Shortcut, D Styles, Melody, and each of those guys, it's like they're doing classes 1 day a week. When it originally started, it was twice a day, and I think that lasted for roughly 6 months. And then the guys, they got together and they was like, hey, let's do another format as far as teaching these classes. Of course, they have busy lives as well. They got to do gigs and do their online Twitch, DJ sessions and things of that nature. So we attend that. So every week, I only have the opportunity. Jam Burglar, I only have the only opportunity to attend D Styles classes because of our busy, work, family, lifestyles, lives, and things like that. So every week, D comes on. He's like, okay, we're going to learn this scratch this week. Or sometimes he posts up files for us to download, and those files basically consist of stuff to do scratch band type of sounds or songs. So all three of us saved all the ones he uploaded for the past 3 years. And fast forward, going back to my initial thing about the freestyle session, Manudukasana was like, hey, let's try to use those sounds that D Styles gave us, for the past couple of years. So we did that. During the freestyle session, we started using this sound, but then it just got so crazy that we just went off we went and just got our own sound, or went, looked in our, our drives or vinyl that already have sounds on it, went to our own toolboxes and constructed the whole session. Like over the years, prior to the pandemic started, of course they had, you had your sprinkle of DJ schools. On some of them, I think there's only a few that you subscribe to online. Like Cubit had his his Qbert Scratch University, and a whole bunch of other stuff prior to the pandemic. Yeah, Rob I believe started his Brolic Army School. I think it was the first year right after the Beat Junkies started their online school. But Rob, he was teaching in person, and he started his Brolic Army Scratch School or DJing school, I believe later in 2020 if I'm not mistaken, but it was along the lines when the pandemic started. Rob started his school. But what I was saying is that so people like myself and Jam Burglar, who've been doing this for a long time, we felt like it's like kind of embarrassing to go to a scratch school or these online tutorials, because we're guys that's supposed to be knowing all this stuff. But ever since
something new too, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, yes, D-Styles and all the other junkies, they teach you the basics. But what I found out when I attended some of those classes, and they do those some of the basic stabs or whatever, they may teach it a different way or some way, or they give us a tip that I never knew about, and it made me sound a little bit better over the years. So I was really appreciated, and it was appreciated that I just like, man, let me go ahead and learn some new stuff, or polish up my existing skills. So it's worth every penny that I invested into taking those classes. When I started the Beat Junkies online school, I was able to do a decent percentage of the scratches, but there was like literally, I'm gonna be honest, there were some of the basic ones that I heard but never knew what they were, or didn't pick up on it over the years. Trying to like, dang, this is not that bad. But after a while, I started practicing it, and I was like, okay, I practicing for like a week or two or whatever every once in a while, and I got it down. But it was just like, I was like, oh man, this is a scratch, an essential scratch that I never knew about all these years, and I really appreciate that they were teaching that type of stuff. So in case, like, they have their classes live, and if you miss their classes, you can always go back. They have replays, just like WFMU have archives of everything. So you can even go to stuff they pre-recorded before the school, before the homeroom online school came aboard. They have like 6-minute videos of each scratch or a beat juggle or trick mixing things like that. So you can go to that particular portion of the website to review that type of things like that. So my philosophy in life has always been be diverse in everything. So it goes without saying that, for instance, if I did take the path of making DJing a business, and everything, if things start to go off right, going right, I can always just go back, go into engineering, or I can do it in parallel. However, with my lifestyle and other DJs that I know, or my DJ peers that I know, they have a 9 to 5, 12-hour, work day, and as they progress in their careers, the time as far as them practicing like we used to be when we were younger, it's gotten shorter. So like a typical day for like me can be, I work from like 0500 till 1300 or 1400, 9-hour shift. And then after that, I get home. I have to prepare to cook something. I gotta see if I can fit in the exercise. I gotta make time to relax, because that's most important. But sometimes it's a struggle for myself, and I'm gonna speak for some other my fellow DJ peers. We only sometimes have time to practice for like 15 to 20 minutes a day, because by the time you get home and take care of all you need to do, and you have that time to practice, time for you to start winding down and go to sleep and do the whole thing all over again, you know, for the next 4 days or 5 days or whatever the amount of days that you work. So I take this whole DJing thing, it's my go-to, my oasis. It's a hobby. It's something I dearly love as far as music, since I was like 4 or 5 years old when I was first exposed to music as a kid, soul music and jazz from my parents and my brother. So again, it's just I respect, you know, give high kudos to all those guys that are still out there grinding, doing this thing we call DJing, turntablism, for the longest time, even through, you know, thick and thin, pandemic and all the other craziness that's happening in the world. So I haven't been out in Las Vegas in 20 years, and I decided to take vacation and make a pit stop there and see how much has changed, and went to Mount Charleston and a whole bunch of other different places, and a lot has changed, and the population grew a lot, and I met up with D Styles, had dinner with him, and basically chit chat just about a whole bunch of different stuff as far as turntablism in general. Just basically asking them about upcoming releases, and I just picked his brain about Ableton, and just basically catching up on a whole bunch of other different stuff as far as the DJ world is concerned, and some other stuff we talk about because we send each other jokes at times through Instagrams and just stuff like that. But that was, for the most part, it was just catching up, because I haven't seen him in person for a long while. But that's pretty much it. Possibly in the fall, we're going to do another freestyle session that we're going to do for WFMU, Billy Jam's Put the Needle on the Record broadcast. It's a possibility that if Jam Burglar and I, you know, if our schedules, if the stars align, we're going to meet up again and work on another project where we take like one scratch record and just make a song out of just using that one scratch record. We did 2 songs already. We did one from the Tones 1.0 record by Christian Jurstad, and the other one we did was from an EP called Fair Warning by D Styles and Widowmaker. So we're gonna do something. Hopefully, we do something like that as far as scratch-related projects. And I got some other stuff that I can't reveal. I'm gonna be working on the side with another artist. So when we get together to do sessions, it is the feeling between sending files to another DJ and, you know, doing the file transfer back and forth, compared to doing an online session. It's the feeling is different, and I like doing it in person, because you can feel the vibe, you can get the energy in person from the person, from your fellow DJ that's there jamming with you. And many times it's called zoning. It's called zoning out, and I get that a whole lot better, you know, the in session than doing the in session scratch sessions over the submitting the files. The chances of doing that, the file transfer, you know, listening back through your editing program and trying to, you know, get the feel of it, with me in the past, it's quite slim. I have to keep listening back and be like, okay, I can feel the beat or feel this, and I know what to do to drop this in there. But the in-person sessions, I feel are in my opinion much better as far as being more creative than the file transfers between artists.